How's it going, everybody? Garrett back with the Pocket Pulls Newsletter YouTube channel. Do me a favor, please, and go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter right here and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now, I want to apologize and say that I'm sorry that this video is taking so long to get put out, but we're putting it out right now. If you guys remember a while ago, when we hit 100 subscribers, I said, hey, let's do a Q&A. Leave me your questions. Now, the crazy thing is that when this video goes live, we very well might be over 200 subscribers. I will try and figure something else out for 200 subscribers, but I just want to tell you guys, thank you from the bottom of our heart for all of the support you guys have given the channel. You guys take your time out of your day to watch me take 3 minutes to open up one pack. I realize that content is not for everybody, and that's completely fine. But whether you do or do not like our content, thank you guys for stopping by. It really means a lot to us. Now then, I took screenshots of all the questions that were asked since the video I put out asking for questions, if that makes sense. I double checked and I really don't think I missed anybody's questions. If I did, go ahead and leave them down below and I will answer them if I didn't get to them in this video. Now, there was no question limit. If you wanted to leave 50 questions, we welcome that. If you wanted to ask one, we also welcome that. Now, our first question comes from Lance5783, and they asked, who's the best legendary Pokemon in my opinion? Now, if there's one thing you guys have learned about me, it's that I'm an OG. When Pokemon cards first came out, I was like 8 years old, and there was always one legendary Pokemon that everybody wanted. All the kids wanted this card. I'll put it on the screen if I can find the exact card. I'll need to do some research. I'll put it right here when I do find it, but it's Mewtwo. Mewtwo is the best legendary Pokemon in my opinion. There is just so much nostalgia for me attached to Mewtwo. Like I said, when I was a kid, I wanted a Mewtwo. I loved Mewtwo. Mewtwo was just such, I can't really put it into words. It was like it was like the rare find. Like nobody had a Mewtwo, and if you got the Mewtwo, you were like the coolest kid around. If Mewtwo was never invented, I guess I would probably say Moltres. I always really liked Moltres. I'll put the card right here when I find it, but I pulled one of those when I was a kid, and I always just loved the way Moltres looked. Our next question comes from Janelle HR6181. Again, I apologize, you guys, if I'm saying your names wrong. I'm trying my best. I can't even say Pokemon's names right, so I'm hoping I'm getting yours right. They asked, what is your favorite Pokemon? Now, the more and more I thought about this, I'm gonna give two answers. Growing up, my absolute favorite Pokemon was Gyarados. I pulled a holographic Gyarados when I was a kid. I'll put it right here. And I loved that card. It was the first card I put in my binder. It was the one that was front and center, and I never moved it. Now, as I've gotten older, I would say that my favorite Pokemon right now is Lucario. And I would say that because when I would play Super Smash Bros., Lucario was an option, and I loved playing as Lucario. This was back like when I was right out of high school. So I just have to say it's a tie. It's Gyarados, it's Lucario, but if I don't want the cop-out answer, and I have to give you just one answer, I would probably just have to say it's a Gyarados because I loved that Gyarados card when I was 9 years old, and there's just a lot of nostalgia attached to it, and I've always loved Gyarados. King Rocket 8027 asks, what's your favorite show? This is a really good question because I've watched a lot of good shows in my lifetime, not so many recently. Without a shadow of the doubt, you got the best writing, the best character development, the best characters in general, great storyline, great finish, a show that didn't outstay its welcome. It ended when it needed to, and that would be Breaking Bad. To this day, I haven't seen a TV show that has better writing than this one. The scripting, the acting, the story, everything about Breaking Bad is literally perfect. So Lance sent in quite a few questions, which thank you very much, Lance, because it gives me a lot to answer. They asked, if you were to add another type of Pokemon, what would it be and why? Now, I know I brought this up in one of our pack openings. I don't remember which one, but it would be an alien type Pokemon. Could you imagine just all of the abilities it would have, the card art that it could have being on different planets? Like, there's just so much potential there. I don't really have more of like an elaborate answer than that, which I apologize for, but it definitely would be alien type. I just think that would be really, really cool. Our next question comes from Joseph Haycock, and they asked, does your son like Pokemon? Yes, my son loves Pokemon. He is dying to be in one of my videos, and hopefully he'll be in a video very soon. I'm just trying to figure out how to work him into one of my videos. Now, being 7 years old, he's into a lot of things at once, but he's watched the OG Pokemon show, the newer Pokemon TV show. He has his own Pokemon cards, and to be honest, it was his love for Pokemon that kind of reignited my love for Pokemon. So yes, my son loves Pokemon, and his favorite Pokemon is Pikachu, and you can't hate on that. Joseph Haycock asked another question, and he said, what has been your favorite card you have pulled, whether when you were 8 or older? Now, I'm going to answer this in 2 parts. I'm going to first answer what my favorite card that I've pulled on this channel has been, and it's this card right here. If you guys remember, when we pulled the Gold Hyper Rare Earthen Vessel, that was like such a huge moment for me in the channel. I'm not gonna lie, he just looks absolutely brutal. I love it. But, oh my people! A golden earthen vessel. I swear this is one of the chase cards. Like actually pulling things and then seeing gold for the first time. That was just, like, I went crazy when we pulled that. There have been so many great pulls on this channel, whether it was holographic, whether it wasn't holographic, but Earthen Vessel will probably always be my favorite card that we've pulled on this channel. It was just a really, really cool moment for me, and I still remember pulling it and my reaction. Now, I've already mentioned this, but my favorite card that I've pulled ever would be the holographic Gyarados that I pulled when I was like 8 or 9. Again, I'll put it right here. That card lived in front of my binder. But this card right here will always be my favorite card that I've ever pulled. Our next question comes from Limited TCG, and they asked, what got you into Pokemon? So the very first Pokemon cards to release in the United States, and I'm looking right here, was January 9th of 1999. And at that time, I was 7 years old. Now, there was so much hype surrounding these Pokemon cards when they dropped, you guys. You don't understand. They were in every store. Literally, there was Kmart, if you guys ever heard of Kmart. Walmart, I believe. There were Target, others, Radio Shack, grocery stores. It didn't matter. The Pokemon cards were absolutely everywhere, and the hype was unbelievably real. Now, as a kid, you go in there, you see the commercials on TV, you go into the store, and you say, Mom, Dad, I want those Pokemon cards. But when Pokemon cards hit the United States, it was absolute chaos. So I would go to the grocery store with my mom, and I would always see Pokemon cards. Always. Not like today where it's impossible to find them. They would just be out. You could just pick one, and I don't believe there were like ETBs or anything like that, to the best of my knowledge. I can't remember, but I think they were just single packs. You would buy like 5 of them, and the hype, like I said, was just unbelievable. I just remember getting my binder, opening up my cards, looking at every single card, loving them. I would put them in my binder based on how cool I thought they were. That's why the Gyarados was always at the front, because Gyarados was the coolest looking card. And that's really what got me into Pokemon. I was 7, 8 years old, and my love for Pokemon never died. But as I got older, you know, you get more responsibilities, things change in your life. But Pokemon's always been around in my life, and to be honest, I think it probably always will be. I really do think it's cool that after all of this time, Pokemon is so huge. My son is now into something that I got into when I was his age. So yeah, that's what got me into Pokemon. Also, Limited TCG did ask, he wanted to know where I got my Pocket Pulls newsletter sign thing that I have in the background, because he wants to do one for his YouTube channel. Limited, I will put a link to where my wife bought it in the description, and I will get you that link one way or another. Lance asked, which generation of Pokemon do you think is the best? Now, you guys can call me blinded by nostalgia, but it's always gonna be Generation 1. I'm gonna put a poster up right now that I used to have in my bedroom or something like it, and it's one of the most nostalgic looking things that I look at today. Generation 1 had 151 Pokemon in it, and when I was younger, like really into it, when I was 8, 9, and 10, I could have named every single one of those for you. Don't get me wrong, future generations provided some of the coolest looking Pokemon I've ever seen, but again, it is nostalgia, I can say that, but I also think Generation 1 just has some of the greatest original OG Pokemon in it. Another question from Lance said, if you were to have a Pokemon in real life, who would it be? Now, I gave this one a lot of thought because, like, originally I'm like, I want a Gyarados, but my fear of the ocean, I'm not gonna lie, Gyarados would probably scare me to death if I actually owned him. Could you imagine if I'd have to keep him in like the ocean and like feed him, I'd have to go down and like, it would creep me out. So I really had to think about, if I had to have one in real life, who would it be? I had to go with my gut here, and I know exactly who I'd have. It would have to be my boy Lechonk. I realize Lechonk is a pig and things could get messy, but I cannot doubt myself when I say I would want a Lechonk as a pet. But Lechonk, I think, is the cutest looking Pokemon in the entire world, and I would love him to death, and I would protect him at all costs. Another one from Lance, they asked, does Bidoof win against Arceus? Now, in case you guys aren't familiar, here's Bidoof, here is Arceus. Who wins? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I am putting all of my money on Bidoof losing to Arceus because what in the world? This is a great question though, Lance. It did make me laugh when I saw it, so thank you for that question. Life is full of underdogs and life is full of surprises. You never know, Bidoof could come out and win. You genuinely never know. But my money is going on Arceus. Yeah, it's gonna go on Arceus. And our last question from Lance says, who's the best trainer in your opinion? Now, growing up watching the TV show, the 3 trainers that I think of all the time are Ash, Misty, and Brock. Now, out of those 3, I always liked Brock because Brock had an Onix, and Onix was just the coolest looking Pokemon. But if we're going like out of the cards that I've been pulling, I did mention this, I think, a few pack openings ago, or maybe longer than that. But my favorite trainer right now is probably Salvatore. He just looks super classy, and I really like the way that he looks in the card art designs. And I'll leave it at that. From the show, it was Brock because he had an Onix, and Onix is awesome. From the cards that we've pulled, it's Salvatore because he's just really savvy looking. Plus, I really like the look of this card. I don't know what it is, but the card looks really cool. I apologize if this video runs like really long, you guys. I try to not take too much time in answering the questions, but I also wanted to not just answer them really quick, like I didn't care about your questions, because all the questions that you guys asked matter to me. Thank you guys so much. I don't know how many subscribers we're gonna be at when this video drops, but this is for 100 subscribers. I wanna thank you guys so much for the support. This channel is still growing faster than even I thought. The support has been unbelievable. So thank you guys so much. And I'm serious when I say this, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you guys. Whether you leave a lot of comments on our videos or you're a silent viewer and you just watch and enjoy, I really appreciate it. And to end this video, we will do a pack opening because we do a pack opening every single day. All right, guys. So as I was coming over here to open up a pack, I thought, you know what? Let's do another mystery graded card because you all deserve it for all the support. Now, for those of you who didn't see the first mystery graded card that we opened up, we pulled the Mint 10 Ho-Oh EX card. And this will be given away to everybody once we reach 1,000 subscribers, along with every other card that we've opened up on this channel. Thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. Again, we're probably at 200 by the time this drops. But we're gonna go ahead and do this. Doing this for you guys. I don't want to see the front of the card. Okay, that's not the front of the card. There we go. We're gonna keep it safe. Thank you guys again for watching the entire video. Let's see what we get with our mystery graded card in 3, 2, 1. And we... okay! We have a Mint 9 Ho-Oh EX. So you guys... you just saw we have a Mint 10, and now we have the Mint 9 Ho-Oh EX card. You guys, thank you for all of the support. I'm going to say thank you a million times, and I'm never going to feel bad for it. know that we're going to give every single card that we've opened up on this channel away to you guys for completely free. I want you guys to know that. It will be 100% free. There's no hidden fees. There's no weird, like, oh, you got to pay for shipping, but it's actually free. No, this is free. We're going to pay for shipping. No matter where in the world you live, we will ship it to you. All of the cards, everything for absolutely free. We love you guys. Thank you for watching this long video. We appreciate all the support. And remember, whatever we pull is what you pocket.